as Michael said, 20 years ago, almost to the day, actually, I started Tangerine. It's not Tangerine PR anymore, Michael. Tangerine.
No, it was back then, though, wasn't it?
I know it was back then. Tangerine PR back then. And the reason I set up the business was to prove singularly that we could run a PR business that was both ethical and profitable. You didn't have to choose. And back then, that was quite a big thing. It was quite a different thing. And we did well, as Michael said. We started to grow and we started to gain clients. And one of the best decisions we actually made was switching our partner to Apprentify, just to make Paul blush for a change. Because these guys really know their apples. They are amazing, and they've given us a bit of a beating up and kicked us into touch and worked with us and shout. Sally Ann's laughing because she's the worst of the lot. She scares the life out of me at the back there. But that's what you need in apprenticeships. You need to know what you're about, because this is to be taken seriously. This is young people that we're talking about here. And while we were doing great work and we were bringing them through, there were things we could have done better, and we were constantly learning. I think the biggest learning things for me as an agency owner, as I was, in taking on apprenticeships, because obviously I had the two hats on. I had being the trainer, but also being the agency that was taking some of the apprentices from our program as well, is that apprenticeship, everybody in the agency world, certainly in the PR world, I know it was like in other parts of the world, was going on and on about diversity. How do we bring different people into our sector? It's always the same people. And if you'd looked around Tangerine Towers 10 years ago, you'd see a sea of white, middle-class females, basically, all university educated. Nothing wrong with that. But there was no diversity. So at the time, I think one of our biggest clients was Iceland, the retailer. And what you want when you're brainstorming a retailer like Iceland is you want people who've actually shopped in Iceland, not Waitrose, because you've got to actually brainstorm and you've got to bring it to life. And that's one of the things that was really eye-opening for me, was all of a sudden we'd got Johnny from Urmston and Nathan from Salford, and they came in and they were ballsy and they were brash and they were absolutely fantastic. And they had really bad but brilliant ideas because they had no framework from which to actually be involved in brainstorm, but they brought this creativity and this different take to our brainstorms and to our office, and it was really refreshing. So that was completely accidentally, if I'm honest, but that still happens. The sorts of people that you see coming through apprenticeships are quite different in some ways from the sorts of grads, but actually now grads can be apprentices, so it's all merged in. And the talk tonight is how brilliant apprentices are, and they are. But I think grads are brilliant as well. And what I'm saying is you don't need to choose. You can. I think the best environment is we've got brilliant grads with all of their analytical thinking that they've been taught at university, and then you've got these fresh kids who are straight out of school into an apprenticeship or straight out of college into an apprenticeship, and they all bring different things. When the rules changed to bring some grads into the classroom at the Juice Academy, it was fantastic. It changed everything. And this is the great thing, is the thing that things are constantly evolving and changing, and that's what we need. And that was the reason why we agreed to do this program, is because apprentices need to be in the real world. As you know, in digital marketing, in the world of digital, things are changing all the time. So they can't really be trained in college to do how to do digital marketing, in my opinion. It needs to be trained by people who are actively doing the job. And what we do is we also layer that with what we know they need to do and to survive in our world. So, for instance, they need to be resilient. They need to understand, that in a fast-paced environment, things will go wrong, and they need to know how to do that. So we layer their technical training with resilience training, with teamwork training. We even bring a nutritionist in who teaches them what to put in their body during the day, so that will affect their executive brain. We have a bank manager comes in and talks to them about how to spend and save their money. All the things I wish somebody told me, basically, at 18. Would I have listened? Who knows? But basically, it's all about real world. And that's what's brilliant about apprenticeships, is that you go and learn a bit, as you were saying, Michael. You go and learn a bit, you apply it in the real world, you go and learn a bit, you apply it in the real world, and it really sinks in. And so we've absolutely loved our journey. It's almost 10 years. I can't believe that. It feels like about 3 years. But we've absolutely loved it. And a few thanks to people in the room. We've got people from Social Chain here. I think you've taken about 15 of our apprentices over the years. And people come back because our apprentices land they tend to stay around. We had a boot camp yesterday where we brought a new load of apprentices in, and we had some guys in the room from Checked Media, and they've had about 10 of ours over the years, and they were saying that there were people who have been with them 8-9 years. They're now running the US operation or the Dubai operation from a standing start 8 years ago as an apprentice. So these kids just need a break, and they will grab it with both hands, and they'll be loyal and they'll stay with you. So if anybody has any questions about any of that afterwards, well, I'm going to be here anyway. Just come and talk to me. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you, Sandy.